Hello. Today we are visiting an equine retirement home, a place where senior citizen horses can enjoy peaceful pastures. Incidentally, there's a beautiful historic home on the property, and while the horses don't care about architecture, fine interior finishes, history, I think you're going to like this one. Join me as we tour Long Branch, an old Virginia home in the Shenandoah Valley. Let's go.
Today's Long Branch stretches out over 400 pastoral acres and is a horse retirement home as well as a house museum, cultural center, and backdrop for community events. The mansion is a perfect setting for the pageantry and tradition of the Blue Ridge Hunt, which was established in 1888 and is still active. But the plantation's story begins with Robert Carter Burwell, who commissioned the main block of the house to be built in the early 19th century. Burwell, who was a descendant of Robert King Carter, had inherited the land, which was situated along a stream known as Long Branch, in 1788. The Virginia gentry lifestyle depended heavily upon enslaved workers, and the house was built using this labor force, beginning in about 1811. The construction of the Federal-style house was already underway when Burwell consulted with Benjamin Latrobe, an English architect who came to America and was a leading force in the Greek Revival movement. Latrobe designed the United States Capitol and is often referred to as the father of American architecture. Because the foundations and exterior walls of Long Branch were probably already laid before Latrobe's input, most of Latrobe's influence is in the interior plan and details of the house. Later 19th century remodeling introduced grander classical revival elements, including the paired front and rear porticos with large columns of the Tuscan and Ionic orders. These were added after 1842 by another Long Branch owner, Hugh Mortimer Nelson. At around the same time, inside, the graceful flying or floating spiral staircase was added. Following Hugh Mortimer Nelson's death, his wife Adelaide was left with large debts. She and her son, Hugh Jr., struggled to maintain ownership of the property. As with other southern plantations, the loss of enslaved laborers led to a downturn of the farm's sustainability. However, Adelaide was able to fight back against the creditors. She bought back Long Branch at auction, and the Nelson family held on to the house until the 1950s. Throughout the mid to late 20th century, Long Branch was owned by a succession of owners and investors, and eventually fell on hard times until it was saved by Harry Z. Isaacs, a Baltimore textile executive who bought Long Branch in 1986 on the courthouse steps for $1.3 million. A longtime employee of Isaacs, Colette Poisson, recalls the state of Long Branch when she and her husband went to see the property and report back on its condition to Isaacs.
You enter that magnificent property, you are faced overgrown, barbed wire fences for racehorses. And then we come to the house. The porch were wooden, you had to be careful, they were rotted, you went through it. And you open the house and you're faced with cracked plaster, peeling paint, a lot of water damage because of a leaking roof. But we got the whole history of it. It's interesting. Told him the history of it. He was intrigued, decided to come and look at it, and he loved it.
Isaacs embarked on a massive renovation and made major improvements sparing no expense, including an addition that mirrored the original loggia, keeping in line with the symmetry of the original federal style. While Isaac's first love was the apparel industry, he was also a horse breeder who specialized in horses of the fair play bloodline that had included man-o'-war. I think this room, the hunt room at Long Branch, is my favorite room in the house, and here you can really appreciate his devotion to his horses. Incidentally, Isaacs tended to name his horses names that began with the letter I, like his surname. Some of his racehorse names included Intent, Immediacy, Inevitable, Imprint, Intensify, Immensely, In Unison. The list goes on and on. Isaacs died in 1990, but before his death, he created and endowed the Harry Z. Isaacs Foundation to hold, preserve, maintain, and operate Long Branch Farm for charitable purposes. Long Branch is now a 501c3 organization in partnership with the Isaacs Foundation. Thank you for visiting Long Branch with me. I encourage you to visit Long Branch in person and take a tour of this magnificent old Virginia home.